Hey guys, Slev here, and today I am apparently going to be driving a Lightning. Okay, I'm driving a Lightning now. I was going to do a Mag Rider, maybe I'll do that later, but for now, looks like I'm doing Lightning. So today is a rambling video. Haven't done any videos in a while, I apologize. Finals, lots of busy stuff, life, etc., etc. Not only that, there hasn't been a lot of new content in PlanetSide. There's a lot of rumblings from the test server. So today I'm going to talk about the latest changes that have been put in the game since the Carbines patch, I guess, and talk about what we're hearing from the test server, what I think is good, what I think is bad, and maybe then I'll talk a little bit about why I feel the Vanu are underpopped. And it's not a balance reason. It's really aesthetic and utility-based reason. But let me start by saying what's currently been changed in the game. So the last big patch, other than the Carbines patch, was a buff for the TR. Now, the TR were definitely lackluster in a couple areas, and I will make no attempt to say that they weren't. The TR were definitely lacking in some areas, and I think the new TR Carbine, the Jaguar? Is that what it's called? Jaguar? I think it's Jaguar. The Jaguar really fills in the role the TR were missing, which was a 167 damage Carbine. However, one big problem I have with the changes is they buffed the wrong stuff. That is to say, the gun they buffed the most was the T5 AMC. And that gun was amazing to begin with. It's even better now. Do I think it's overpowered? I haven't used it, so I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen a huge number of Terran players using it, at least no more than usual, and I don't seem to die to it more often, so maybe the changes were needed. But what I will say is, it seems like they could have patched something else in a better way. Well, there goes the Lightning. This was a bad decision. And we're out. Okay. As you can see, live gameplay means I get distracted frequently. Oh god.
Generator
Come on,
repaired.
Prowler. Scared. Can't get mines closer. Anyway, so I think the buffs were in the wrong place. The other big problem of what? Okay. That's cool. He was behind me, then he was in front of me again. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the other huge problem, I'm not going to spawn there. That's just death waiting to happen. All of these are death waiting to happen too, but they're less death. The biggest problem I had with the change was the AMC was pretty good to begin with, and they just buffed it instead of maybe buffing some TR guns that needed help. Now, the changes on the Lynx, which brought up the rate of fire, those were definitely needed, because that is the Terrans thing. Rate of fire is what makes the Terrans their empire. The buffs to the chain gun were too good. My biggest problem with the chain gun, really, is that they basically straight ahead buffed it, but then they also released an attachment that functions as a buff. And so, it's hard to tell whether the chain gun actually needed the buffs it got, because it simultaneously received an incredible attachment that completely changes the way the weapon works. So I think from that perspective, the devs kind of messed up. You can't buff a weapon and then also put a whole bunch, or release a brand new attachment that totally changes the weapon, because then the changes you just made may make it overpowered, which is somewhat the case here. I don't necessarily think it's hugely overpowered, and I think in a lot of ways it's fine because of how specialized it is. But at the same time, I've been seeing people using it at decent ranges with no real downsides. So, you know, there's a question of why they're able to do that. Another thing is, what else did they change? That's about all they changed, I guess. So that's pretty much what happened in the last big set of patch notes. What's coming up? There's the new class of assault rifles that are due out soon. Trademark. Those are... I don't really know what exactly they do for the TR and NC. I know the Vanu variant is a burst fire rifle. That's what it's going to be used for. It's not going to be like the Saber, much to the anger of most Vanu players. We were hoping for a gun that functioned very similarly to the... oh man, I ran out of rockets. We were hoping for a gun very similar, if not identical, to the Saber, because the Saber is a really good weapon. Instead, what we're getting is our own version of it, which is a 3-shot burst. What I will say is, as someone who played a lot of Battlefield 4 when it came out, and someone who played a lot with the M16A4, which was a burst fire only weapon, 3-shot burst fire is pretty powerful. However, I'm not convinced it's the right choice. I think the Saber highlights how good 2-shot burst fire is, and I would also argue that the Trap highlights how good 2-shot burst fire is. As someone who used the Trap a lot on their TR Infiltrator, I rarely, if ever, put it on 3-shot mode because the 2-shot mode was so much more accurate. What else is coming? So I don't know what the other 2 assault rifles are. I'm not entirely convinced the NC and TR needed new assault rifles. They have assault rifles that cover a lot of niches, whereas the Vanu, we have one long-range rifle, kind of, though you could argue the NS-11 is better at that role than ours. You have a ton of mid-range rifles that all pretty much do the same thing. And then you have one close-range rifle, the HV-45. Compare that with the other empires who have multiple alternatives for the ranges. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm not entirely sure what they would be giving the TR and the NC that would give them something new. The VS, on the other hand, do have gaps in their arsenals that could be filled. So, there's a question of what they could do to fix that. What else? There are purported shotgun changes. Not sure how I feel about them. Okay, I do know how I feel about these. If they changed shotguns, it would be the stupidest thing they could possibly do. And that is not an understatement at all. Changing shotguns is dumb. Now, they would be very minor tweaks, but people hate them enough as they are. I don't see a reason why you would want to make them better when people already fairly dislike them. So, that's a question. Why would you need those changes at all? Those were reported, not entirely convinced they'll ever happen. So, that's a question, whether those will actually happen. My guess is no. And, if I do stutter or ramble, it's probably because I'm concentrating in-game. So, just keep that in mind. And I stutter somewhat when I'm trying to come up with things to say to begin with. What else? I mean, what else? I haven't heard of any balance changes. I've heard the Saron is getting its 2-shot kill potential back. That would be a huge change, because right now, the Saron is basically an awful version of the Enforcer. The Enforcer can one-shot infantry, and it's got relatively good anti-vehicle capabilities as well. The only downside is it's a one-shot per reload. It's also got great velocity. I would say its velocity is probably relatively similar to the Saron. Maybe the Saron's a little faster. I would say the Saron, since its tweaks and changes, has really gone downhill as a weapon, and most Vanu would agree. It was overpowered you could argue it was overpowered in its initial incarnation, but I'm not even sure that's true. I don't think it was ever really overpowered. It's just, it was better than the other two empires at certain things, and if you're the Vanu, you can't be better than the other two empires. Our voices just aren't loud enough. So there's that problem. So that's getting a buff. I've heard the Marauder is also getting a buff to put it more on par with the other empire's anti-infantry versions. I would argue that the Vanu's PPA is currently the best at that role. The other empires could certainly use something to fix that up. We'll see if that ever happens. It probably won't, but the other empires certainly could use something to flesh out their main battle tank anti-infantry arsenal, and they are currently severely lacking in that regard. The PPA is definitely the standout there, and you could argue the PPA is also the best when it comes to the air anti-infantry. Now, I have not used the PPA on the Scythe. I have used the Terran anti-infantry gun, which has the exploding rounds, and that's relatively fun to use, I will say, is how I would put it. It's relatively fun to use. I wouldn't say it's the most fun. I would say the PPA probably outperforms. So, side down. Nope, because he has infinite armor. He's been smoking. How is he alive? And he's dead. I'm going to let him burn now. Or not, because he's going to somehow survive. That's great. That's great. That is just great. This is why airplay is so unfun, because there are add-ons that just totally make one person better than the other. Like, there was no reason he should have won that, but he clearly had better things on his plane. That's, I would argue the air game is so severely lacking right now, but, you know, they're never going to change that. Let's see if I can get a one shot on him. It's not going to kill him, because lock-on rockets don't kill. It takes multiple lock-on rockets to kill anyone. I don't think that I'm complaining for complaining's sake at this point. Back to the topic at hand. What's the other? Oh, the other big thing are implants. I don't play the test server. From what I've heard, implants don't make a huge difference. Some implants I think are stupid and should not be put in the game. And then the ones like the health regen, I think for a solo player, that's a really great thing. I know when I have the Biolab passive, like what I have on right now, I really enjoy that benefit of being able to get healed when I need it, and that's something I really appreciate when I do have the Biolab bonus. So I'm actually looking forward to that implant, and I believe they're saying that's going to be the default implant, which means, which basically means, sorry if I paused there, it was on string, it basically means you'll always have some health regen out of combat, is my assumption, is it will work, it'll work similar to vehicle auto repair, where after a certain amount of time, it will automatically turn on. Now, I don't know if that's exactly how it will work, but that's at least how I would implement it, if that's what they're going for. I'm not exactly sure of the specifics of how Biolab regen works. They may just implement it to be identical to Biolab regen, but I don't know the specifics of how that works. I've never really looked into it. So, now that I've talked about the upcoming patch notes, talked about what's currently happened, which is pretty much just a retooling of the Vanu, or not the Vanu, the Terrans, and I think a lot of the changes were definitely needed. Now that I've talked about all that, I want to talk about why I think the Vanu are underpowered. So, my outfit, we frequently argue about these things. I frequently get angry at what I perceive to be our underpowered everything, I would say that that's more anger than legitimacy. But I do that. Oh, it's a max. How much damage that max does? That is freaking amazing that he's alive. Drink coffee here. That is part of the problem I have with the Vanu, is it often seems like the other empires have just way more fun everything. Grabbing light assault, because I don't even know what I'm grabbing at this point. Guess I'll switch to the heavy. Don't need air for anything, really. The Vanu we have nothing unique. Our tank, while unique in there, is probably a stalker infil here. That's what I would assume. Maybe back behind the box. Corner. Guess he left. There's usually a stalker infil on the point if you don't see someone there. That's a frequent occurrence. That guy. That Max was out there. I wonder if he moved into the building. It looked like he had dual AV arms, so he might be an easy target. The Vanu, the biggest problem with the Vanu is we don't have a lot of unique mechanics. Oh, there's that Max. There he goes. We don't have a lot of unique mechanics. I know that's weird to say because the Vanu faction is meant to be the unique faction, but we really don't. I mean, the best way to sum up the Vanu is we have one good gun per class, one or two good guns per class, and then every other gun is a fairly poor middle-of-the-road weapon. You know, the argument for that is we're meant to be generalists. I don't really agree with that at all. I think, if anything, all that is a poor argument for, there's an info here somewhere. Oh, there he is. He got him. I think saying that we're generalists is a way of saying we don't think you need any buffs. That is the problem is the other empires have relatively generalist weapons, but then they also have specialist weapons. So why is it that we have to have only generalist weapons? We have very few specialist weapons. The ones we do have are very good, but we don't have a lot of them, and that's part of the problem, I think. The other problem I have... Is he on the roof? Oh, he's down there. Is it an infiltrator? I should really be paying more attention. Too busy talking to you guys. Oh, it's that dead guy. God, I'm so terrible. Anyway, so I think the big problem with the Vanu is we have nothing unique. The Lasher, which in beta was a continuous beam weapon, it was really cool, has been turned into a relatively boring orb shooter, and anyone who's used the Lasher knows it works great if you're in groups or if you're in a tight tower, but you will also get continuously weapon locked, just continuously. It's hard to argue when you would use the Lasher in its current form. Now, the biggest thing that people have suggested, and this is not just Vanu players, this is everyone, is to make it a continual beam weapon. What a lot of people have said is the Void Rays from StarCraft, the continuous beam they shoot, just give that to the Vanu, and you're done. And that would be a great addition, because that would give us a unique mechanic that we don't currently have. Right now, that is what the Vanu are missing, is that unique element. I mean, the other problem is no one really wants to play as the Vanu. The storyline in PlanetSide 2 is relatively... How many rocket primaries does one team need? The storyline in PlanetSide 2 was heavily rewritten from PlanetSide 1, and I will say heavily rewritten poorly. PlanetSide 1, the storyline was a lot better, is the easiest way to say it. It was just better. And the people who wanted to play the Vanu wanted to play it because we were trying to embrace technology and uncover the secrets of the ancients, the Araxians. PlanetSide 2's backstory, I'm still not entirely sure where the Vanu fit in here. Basically, the TR are the TR. They haven't changed, but their storyline was relatively good. The NC are space mercenary people, or as many people have called them, Space Merca. That's not even an exaggeration, they're pretty much Space America. And people like to play that because they've got kind of the South will rise again feel. I don't know if that's really the best way to put it, but that's how I'm going to put it. No, it's not. I don't mean to imply that everyone playing the NC is like a southern hick. They have that more rugged feel to them, is the way I'll put it. You know, my resentment for the NC does not mean I will misrepresent them here. And then you've got the Vanu, the spandex-wearing Xeno people? I don't know. That's the problem. Why do we have such an ill-defined story and an ill-defined aesthetic? The Vanu in the pre-release art were much more blade-looking. So the Scythe has that kind of sword edge aesthetic where all of our stuff looks vaguely sharp. And they've slowly stripped that away. Like our assault rifles now, they all basically look like the Pulsar C, which basically looks boring. It's like a purple-colored Terran weapon. We also have terrible colors. No one wants to play the purple and green guys. You've got red and black on one side and blue, yellow, and gray on the other. And then you have the purple guys. I mean, everything about our aesthetic was not thought out properly. So that's part of it. The other part of it is our guns are boring. I mean, you could basically half our weapons are, these are TR guns, but with smaller magazines and faster reload. That is not an intriguing mechanic to play. That is a boring mechanic to play. Just to put it bluntly, it's boring. So what do I think can fix it? I think we just need, I think giving us void ray weapons would be great. The idea the devs have been bandying about is to give us the charge up weapons, and those are not fun to play. They are, the problem with charge up weapons is they suffer if you don't charge them, and it takes forever to charge them. And in a fast-paced shooter like PlanetSide, you don't get the opportunity to charge up. For instance, they wanted to give us a charge pistol, so even though pistols are already basically faction-specific, they want to release Empire-specific pistols. Now, I don't know exactly what this will entail, but the rumor was the NC are getting a shotgun pistol. Now, this could go either way. Do I think it's real? I'm not sure. In PlanetSide 1, the NC did have a shotgun pistol. It was called the Mag Shot? No, that's the current pistol. Damn. I don't remember what it was called. I feel like it was called the Mag Shot, but I might just be misremembering. Scat Shot? No. That sounds horrible. I don't remember what it was called, I'm sorry. Someone can look it up, post it in the comments, and tell me. So they want to do that. Do I think that'll be overpowered? Probably not. I mean, it could, but at the same time, it probably wouldn't be, because shotguns have very limited ranges at which they work, and a shotgun pistol would have to be brought even closer in, so you would basically be limiting yourself to knife range to begin with. Now, it could give the NC a fun shot knife weapon, and I have no problem with that. You can pretty much do that with the Commissioner and the Underboss already, so if they want to give the NC another option there, that's fine by me. For the TR, I haven't heard that much, but my assumption would be a full automatic sidearm. Again, I have no problem with that. In PlanetSide 1, there was a weapon called the AMP, which was an automatic sidearm. No one complained about that, and I think that would be a great mechanic for the TR because it fits their aesthetic. Now for the VS, they wanted to give us a charge-up pistol. This is a terrible idea, and there's 100 reasons why this is a terrible idea, but the easiest way to say it's a terrible idea is basically, if you're up close with a pistol, 9 times out of 10 you're panic firing on an enemy that you've weakened. If your pistol's charged up and you aren't charging it, it means it's doing tiny amounts of damage, much less than a regular pistol would do. So, you know, you might be doing 50 a shot. You're never going to kill anyone with that. So it limits the pistol to being a weapon that you have to consciously pull out and charge up. That's a non-fun mechanic. And that's my biggest argument. That's the argument for the VS, is charge up is not a fun mechanic. And we were already lacking in fun mechanics. So what exactly do they plan to fix for us? Anyway, the devs have basically been arguing that charge up is the VS's mechanic. VS is, that would be VS with an apostrophe and no S after. Yes. Hard to say, especially since I have a lisp. Lisp. That's right. I have received so many comments on the lisp. It's ridiculous. I mean, people have lisps, internet. I'm one of them. I think I'll address it now. If I keep getting comments on it, whatever. I get comments all the time. Most people think I wear a retainer because that gives you a false lisp. I do not. I actually have a lisp legitimately. Anyway, back to the topic. Again, I get sidetracked very easily, as you can see. So, charge up is not a good mechanic. I think a continual beam, maybe with a slight amount of splash, would be an interesting mechanic to give to the Vanu, because then it's something new and unique. The problem is the devs basically said that they can't do it, and they've basically said the engine doesn't do continual beam weapons, and I mean, yeah, there's a good chance it doesn't. Something that you guys should know is this engine was never... Forge Light was not built specifically for PlanetSide 2. It was built for EverQuest, and they decided they would use it for PlanetSide 2. That being said, the netcode in PlanetSide 2 is freaking amazing. I don't know how they managed to get that so right, but all praise to them for that. I have no idea how they got the netcode so perfect, but they did. Take a look at Battlefield 4 if you want to see how not to do netcode. This game got it spot on. But back to the topic. I just don't know if there's really anything they can do. Sorry this has been such a boring episode. My god, there's been like no action at all. I've just been driving around in this mag rider for half the time, rambling. I mean, this is a ramble episode, so there is that. Lots of rambling. I don't know, some people say they like my voice, so I figured I would do some rambling. I did rambling before, and people really liked it. So I thought I'd do another one. This one's a little bit longer. I'm probably into like the 25-minute now. I'm gonna check after, and if I was right, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I was right. Anyway, so I don't really know what they could do to make the Vanu better. The other big thing is just our faction trait. We have 2 traits, mobility and no bullet drop. Mobility is a pure stat that you cannot really have in a first-person shooter. The arguments are right. If you have more mobility than another person, then you are objectively better than they are, because mobility is impossible to compensate for with any other mechanic. It's one of the huge reasons why they nerfed Zoe maxes for the Vanu. Now, that's a point of contention I won't get into. Maybe I'll talk about maxes in the next ramble. Anyway, that is one thing. The problem with, where are all the see, I guess they're in indoor comm. So, oh, that's a steep hill. So, I don't really know what they could do to... They can't give us mobility, because mobility is that a person? Let's see if I can get the shot. Oh, I was close. Closer. Oh, God, I'm terrible. He's gonna shoot a rocket. Man. This gun has no splash damage at all. Got him. Oh, look, another one. I'm gonna mag mower him. We call the mag rider the mag mower. Got him with my sound effect. I'm gonna use that when I shoot the mag rider from now on. Anyway, Man, I get so distracted, I'm sorry. I really don't know what they can give the Vanu. Now, for those that don't know, the bolt-action sniper rifles for the Vanu do have bullet drop, because otherwise we would be overpowered, I guess. I would argue that it's easier to compensate for drop than for low bullet velocity. Vanu have the lowest bullet velocity sniper rifles. Now, I'm not sure exactly if we have the lowest across all snipers or just some. Not positive on that front. But we do have relatively low. Like, compared with the NC, who have really great bullet velocity across their snipers. So, one of the things is switch no bullet drop to fastest bullets. Give us way higher bullet velocity than the other two empires. Now, that would be a good change. It'll never happen, but it would be a good change. Other than that, I think the biggest change would be to... That's a lock-on rocket. Oh, it's that guy. Oh, I hit him! Oh, I got a headshot too. How are you alive? That makes me sad. That should have been a kill right there. As you can see, it takes 3 shots to get a kill with the Saron on an infantry. That's insane. That's directly a result of the unnecessary nerf to the Mag Rider. Or, well, really just to the Saron, but same thing. Yes, this is a free kill right here. Maybe. Oh, man. He's not getting away, though. That's for damn sure. He's down. And we're out of range of that rocket. So, really, I do not have the right loadout here. So I'm really not sure what they could do to make our faction more specific. Continual beam weapons are the best idea. Changing our faction trade up. But other than that, what's that? What is that? Oh, it's something. It's a max, I think. Anyway, I don't really know. So yeah, that's about all I have for today. You know, it got really rambly near the end here, where I've run out of things to talk about, and I'm distracted trying to keep my Mag Rider alive. Anyway, that was about it. I'm not sure anyone will have enjoyed this, but if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. Tell me what to talk about. I don't just play PlanetSide, I actually play lots of different games and lots of different genres. I am a PC gamer, however, so if there are any games you would like to see me play, maybe comment on. If you want to just see it in the background while I ramble, or if you want to, me to talk about the game, you know, critique something in the game. I mean, I critique PlanetSide constantly. I also critique many of the other games I play. So if you want me to play a game and critique it, please let me know. I own many, many PC games. Battlefield 4 would be the notable one, since that's relatively similar to PlanetSide. It's the one I hear compared to PlanetSide most frequently. There's also Call of Duty, of course. That's a free kill. Possibly. That's a kill. Eyes open, enemy heavy. I'm gonna abandon this now. I'll miss you. I figured he was dead though. That's where he is. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. Alright, anyway, if you want to hear me talk about another game, or you like this video and you want me to play PlanetSide more, comment on stuff in PlanetSide, give me stuff to talk about, because otherwise, it's this directionless ramble that's happening right now. If you liked, please like and subscribe. It helps me convince you. The more likes I get, the more happy I am to do another video. If my videos get horribly downvoted, it really discourages me. So, whoa. Wow. See, the Trap is a great gun. Like, it's just a really good gun. So yeah, if you want to, man, I'm so distracted. I'm sorry. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Stygis. That's STYGIIS. And as always, have a nice day. And I will continue to talk about what I'm doing until I die again. There is that infiltrator there. And he's dead. Got him. I knew he was there. And I knew he was. I knew he didn't move because I didn't see any shimmering. So it was a dead giveaway that he was standing there hiding. I'm not sure why exactly he would do that. I mean, I'm using a close-range bolt action. He's using a semi-auto burst fire weapon. He definitely had the advantage if he just kept shooting. So I guess I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing until I die. It would have been nice if I died like right as I finished my follow me on Twitter thing, but I didn't. That's how life works. I mean, I could do fancy video editing, but sometimes I'm lazy and I just feel like taking one long video and putting it up and then getting tons of negative on it because, you know, people love to critique other people. That's gonna suck. He's got a huge advantage if he closes. There he is. Jesus. I wish I was better. Why am I so terrible? Oh, God, I got him. He's got to be mad. Like, he put 2 full mags downrange at me, and then I just shoot him in the face, and he dies. The Ghost is probably my favorite weapon in the game. I don't have a Raxium on it because I don't use it that often, because I like guns that I don't have to really focus to get kills with. But you're dead. Now I'm gone. But I do really like the Ghost, and the new edition of the straight pole bolts made the Ghost an incredibly fun weapon to use. I hope he'll run on that motion mine and it'll do enough to kill him, but I don't think it will. I'm out. That and the Cerberus is not a good enough weapon for this. We'll see if I can convince him to run on that mine. He's down. Okay. I think he's dead. Got him. Man, I really need to die. Oh, God. Okay. And that's the end. Because cliffs. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and as always, have a nice day.